Hey, what's going on, guys? Darth back. We are in Queen's Blade Limit Break, and then this video is just going to be like a PSA, answering a question that a lot of people have. In fact, over the next couple of videos I'm going to be sprinkling in are probably going to be just that, answering questions that people have. I've lost a bunch of subscribers, mainly because I'm not posting content as often as people would probably like, and I'm not sure that I'm going to continue posting content about this game. They have G123's basically decided that they're going to be nothing but pay to win, and it's just gotten out of hand. I'll do a video on that later, but I've gotten a ton of questions. Some questions I've been getting over the last few months I just haven't been able to answer. So I'm going to be doing that, sprinkling that in, anywhere from gearing, what's the best gearing options, what is gearing, how to do certain warriors. In this one, I'm going to touch on something called star stones. It's a question I've gotten for a long time, and the questions have come in. What are they used for? What are they used for? Should I use them? I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on them, and then that'll be that. I will always justify my statements. And then what can happen is people who've been playing the game as long as I have can chime in as well and their thoughts, and you can take the advice collectively. Now, what are star stones and what are they used for? Well, star stones are basically used to transfer an existingly built-up warrior, and by built up I mean star level, not leveling up your warrior. Leveling up your warrior is adding XP or putting them in your boot camp to level them up. Building up your warrior means starring them up. Okay? Now, star stones are used to take an existingly built up or start up warrior and transferring them to another warrior. Specifically, you can take basically, for instance, Miriam and transfer her to, let's say, the Easter Bunny or the Axe Lady. But it's a little more complicated than that, and there's a lot of ins and outs which actually affect whether or not you want to actually do that. So, where do you get star stones? First of all, mainly they're obtained in your marketplace here under the exchange. Under the warrior shop, you can purchase an unlimited amount with currency that you get from farewelling or sacrificing and deleting warriors, which is something you don't want to do, even blues and purples. If you didn't see my video on warrior ranks, purples and blues are used to make 5-star infusion or sacrifice fodder. Also, the currency that you get can be used far better. We'll talk about that here in just a second. More on that here in a little while, but you can also get it from the Colosseum. You can buy up to 3 per week. It's not unlimited like the other currency. Even though I have a lot of this Colosseum, which is PvP currency, we're going to talk about better uses for that once we've kind of gotten a little more into the video. So, now that we know what they are, star stones are basically used to transfer one startup warrior to another. This is what they look like. They're star stones, and you can get them a couple of places in the marketplace. Where do you use them and how do you use them? Well, that's done under the temple. That's done under the far right tab under convert. You'll see an interface here, and you'll see the currency up here. I have 0 of 0. Now, just to point out, you can only convert a 7-star warrior or above. Okay? That is the caveat. So you can't convert a 5-star to another 5-star. You can't convert a 6-star to another 6-star. And it's most likely because 6 stars are easy to do and they have very specific purposes. Alright? And they're actually kind of easy to do. And it's a monetary thing. So what you do is you basically take a built-up or startup warrior, you place it up here, and you'll notice it has a couple of things here. It has an empty slot, 0 of X, because that's going to be your sacrificial material, and then it'll tell you how many of those star stones you actually need. In this case, a 9-star warrior takes 6 of those stones. It's actually very expensive. What is this 0 of 3, though? Now, that is the other caveat. In order to transfer another warrior or a startup warrior to another warrior type, and the good thing about that is that it doesn't matter what warrior it is. You can transfer it to any available warrior that you have unlocked. I don't believe you can transfer to a warrior you have not yet unlocked. That is the first caveat. But the 0 of 3 means that you have to still sacrifice something in addition to these star stones. Okay, let's click on it and I'll show you exactly what it is. You actually have to sacrifice not just any, it's giving you access to all the warriors that you have. Okay, so what it is telling you that is if you want to transfer a 9-star warrior to another 9-star warrior, and that's exactly what it's doing, by the way. It's not giving you a 5 or a 6. Whatever star level you have here, you can transfer to another chosen warrior of the same star level. So it sounds great on the surface, but you still need to sacrifice material. But you can't just come in here and sacrifice random warriors. You have to know what warrior you're going to sacrifice. And you have to sacrifice the same warriors. So look, you have to sacrifice the same amount of warriors. And basically what that'll do is it'll allow you to transfer that 9-star warrior to this 9-star warrior. You can't just select randomly because it wants to know what you want, what 9-star warrior. But you still have to sacrifice the same amount of materials for the specific warrior you want. Now why does it say 3? Because in order to make a 9-star warrior, you need 3 of that version of the warrior to make a 9-star if you were to build them up just normally. Okay, so you come in here and you want, let's say you want to build up Gemstone Maiden. You want a 9-star warrior. You don't have to sacrifice all the other 5-star nonsense, but you still have to sacrifice the same number of warriors that it would normally take to build up a 9-star warrior, which is 3. Okay, that is the basics. Now, the cost of this actually goes up. So let's say you want to sacrifice a 12-star warrior. You need 9. Why? Because it takes 9 of any specific warrior, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, to make a 12-star warrior. You see what I mean? But you have to sacrifice 9. And the cost of the stars goes up exponentially, which is something you may have noticed about G123. It is kind of off though. Look at this, 9-star warrior only takes 6, but a 12-star takes 30. Why? That's because a 12-star warrior is a pay-to-win option in the game. It costs about $20 to get the stones, the 10 revelation stones, and to make a 12-star warrior. They don't want you just coming in here. They want to make it so annoyingly expensive that you will never do it. You're forced to buy it. But it would be a nice option. So basically the advice here is don't worry about these stones. Don't use them. I've used them in the beginning when I first started the game, and I came in here. One of my main teams was the physical team. I was using Ari, P. Claudette, and her because of the auto crits. If you have a burn effect on these 2 warriors, auto crit. And same thing with Flash Maiden. Back then, Angel Nanelle was rare to get, and she didn't have the updated abilities she had. But I used it to transfer a 9-star warrior from her to another one just to see exactly what these star stones did. And that's it in a nutshell, guys. This function right here, first of all, is expensive. To obtain the warriors needed, you still need them, okay? But it's expensive to obtain these stones. Let's go back to the marketplace real quick and just take a look at what we were talking about. This currency right here can be put to better use. You are going to find that your inventory is going to be so full that you're going to be sacrificing and using the farewell function to get this currency. You're better off using that currency to obtain Swift Tracer shards or Mhimato shards in order to build them up. Preferably Swift Tracer to build her up to 12 star as part of your main team. The currency can be far better used than using these star stones is what I'm saying. Same thing in the Colosseum. Colosseum, I use them to get these enhancing crystals, legendary jewels, and now the PvP stones when I need them. It's not worth it to get these star stones, especially when you need to sacrifice 5-star warriors. You can use the currency to come in here and get these shards. That's it in a nutshell, guys. Plain simple, to the point. Here's the advice. Even if you're a new player, don't worry about them, don't buy them, and don't use them. You're better off building the warriors up from scratch because that's what they want you to do. Bonus tip. Leveling up warriors actually gives you a currency, building up and obtaining warriors gives you a currency under your spring that you may have forgotten about. This currency right here called Keystones. Anytime you get a 5-star warrior for the first time, or every time you make a 6-star warrior and up, you get varying degrees of currency all the way up to like 1,200 that you can use to grant all your warriors bonus attack, HP, defense, and pierce. Pierce was added much later. The more you build up warriors, the more of this currency you get, thus increasing your stats. I've been building warriors for a long time. I've got dozens and dozens of warriors that I still have to build, which is going to increase this currency. The attack HP, this scales based on your passives of your warriors too. So if your DPS warriors has a 25 or 45% increase to the attack that it gives you, you're going to get that bonus. This is all additive and not multiplicative like most things in this game. So basically it's better off to build the warriors up from scratch so you can get this additional currency as a bonus to your stats. That's it, guys. I wouldn't worry about it too much, and I'm sure that the older players are going to agree that the cost analysis and cost benefits is not there. I can see you maybe starting off the game and building up a warrior to 9-star and then transferring that, because getting 6 of those stones is actually a bit easier, but it is not recommended. I hope this answers your questions about star stones. Don't use them, stay away from them, just forget about them. That way maybe G123 will get their head out of their ass and bring the cost down instead of trying to force you to buy warriors. See you in the next one, guys.